They gave me all these things.
Oh, they gave it.
My name is Gavin Rivera. I'm with the UFC for about 7 years now, and my role here at the UFC is Director of Social Media. You know, social media nowadays is just an extension of every single department, no matter what industry you're in. But particularly for the UFC, we do a lot of content around events, content around athlete development, sponsorship integrations, you know, again, a lot of distribution strategies, and also expanding the brand. So, you know, we try to, you know, we're in all assets of the company, but that's mainly what we do. After graduating, you know, I graduated during a kind of a rough time in the economy and went through a patch of, you know, unemployment. Eventually got a job with in banking. Extremely unhappy, you know, not really wanting, you know, liking what I was doing at the time. And so I had a mutual friend that was a chef at the UFC, and he's actually still there to this day. He reached out to me and he knew how interested I was in working for the organization. At first, they didn't hire me because I was a little bit too overqualified, and the position at this was just basically the company runner and the mail guy. So delivering mail, changing trash, doing just random errands for each department and for the executives, you know, literally the bottom of the bottom. And so I used that opportunity, put my foot in the door, and did the whole messenger and runner position for a whole year. My intention to take that risk was to eventually find out what I wanted to do, you know, and then, you know, people laugh about it. People can't believe that's where I started, but I looked at that as one of the best choices I ever made, because it gave me really a chance to understand the entire business, understand what each department did, and understand where I thought I fit in the best. And so social media was actually something that just kind of fell into place. And so I think, you know, just pushing through, you know, humility over honors is what I was taught growing up, you know, from my dad, and just humble beginnings. And so that's something that I apply, you know, I apply to my life every day. I mean, to this day, you know, I'm constantly grinding, constantly looking for the new and improve, and I'll never get stagnant, you know. So I think that mentality, you know, kind of pushed me, you know, in the right direction as far as my development in my career. It's crazy, man. Like you know, people really don't realize how deeply rooted I am in with my Filipino side of my culture. You know, I'm 75% Filipino. The other is Polynesian, Samoan descent from Hawaii. But it's crazy because where I grew up and how I grew up, you know, I'm more Filipino than anything. My dad is from Nawag, in Ilocos, and my mom is from Cavite. So I got the Tagalog, I got the Ilocano side. I got, you know, different variations of pinakbet and dishes and stuff like that. So I'm, you know, I don't really look it, but I am very, very vested in you know, the Filipino culture. And so going back there in 2015, 2016, it was amazing, man. Like I really got to kind of get in touch with my roots. I flew my dad out and my mom out for that specific event, and you know, to really see the crowd there, and actually going back there for numerous tours. When I was living in Singapore, I went back there, brought a lot of athletes out there to do just media hits and content capture. It was amazing to see the hunger and the drive that the Filipino fans have. You know, it is literally our biggest market from a social standpoint, one of our biggest markets in Asia. You know, the fans are very knowledgeable of the sport. You can't fool them. They know how, you know, they know the latest and greatest with the events, and they're passionate, and they're passionate fans. So just being there was actually really cool, and actually see my dad's reaction and how he was the entire week was really fulfilling for me. I think, you know, like my grandfather, he's a big boxing fan. I mean, to this day, that dude watches just random boxing matches that comes on, you know, every Tuesday or something. Obviously, he's a strong supporter of Pacquiao and any Filipino athlete that is boxing. But you know, working in the UFC, my grandfather really is not a fan, because he, you know, the whole mentality of what UFC was when we first started, it's still relative in his mind, right? It's a brutal sport, but you know, because I started working for this company, he started watching fights because he wanted to see where I was on TV. So when I first started in this company, when in social media, I would go to events, and you know, it was inevitable that I would probably be in a shot near the octagon, near the walkouts. And so once I started doing that, my friends, my family, they would always send me screenshots. And so my grandfather started watching just to catch me on TV. And then after that, my dad would tell me he'd just walk out. So, because of that, he's slowly becoming, more in tune with what the sport is and how massively we've grown. But seeing that change and morph into what, from the fandom that he was before to now, it's pretty amazing. Like, it's crazy to see and realize how many Filipinos we have in this company. I mean, we have our hand in, from the creative process to the medicals to finance. It's crazy, man. When we started this conversation, it really kind of opened my eyes to see how much we as Filipinos are invested in this company. I mean, we have our hand in everything from the creative department to travel to the medicals and finance and all that stuff. Especially in the creative space, I think it's really cool to see the content that is created or the things that, the big initiatives, the big campaigns that's being done from such a big organization, and Filipinos have their hand in is amazing. I mean, stereotypically, we're expected to be either in hospitals and hotels, and I can say that because I have relatives and cousins, and my sister is in the medical field. I mean, so it's like being outside of that spectrum and actually working in a space that's not the norm is amazing, And the funny things we were talking with my friends was that, especially the guys in my company, our parents, some of our parents don't even know what we do. Only because it's not what is expected, but they're starting to notice the success and the effectiveness that we have on this big organization.